Here we go then. So I hope you enjoyed my last video where we painted this bad boy. I'll leave it in the end card at the end of the video. But in this video I'm going to show you how we got the chrome on there. The chrome is incredibly important for getting the finish that I achieved with the candies. And first things first, as of any paint job, it has to be cleaned and sort of degreased, tacked, blown, all that stuff. I'm just finishing it up with the Iron Star here. Obviously there's a big chunk of plastic, so we need to make sure that there is no static on here at all, because I think I said in the last video, imagine trying to do a rework on this. So the chrome that I was actually using was by Repair and Refinish Multi-Mix. It's the Hyper Silver Virtual Chrome, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen the sort of distilled water and spray on sort of wet chrome that they lash over panels and stuff. You know that you need quite a bit of equipment and a dual nozzle spray gun and all sorts of things to get that on here. So this is Multi-Mix's version, and it's the best that I've seen. This is incredible. And you'll notice here I'm using a mini jet. It is a 1.2 on my mini jet, but I just want to do light coats. I've got next to nothing on the needle. Probably opened it out one turn, but I'm not even using that full turn. And just like one of the key things is you need to get the gloss black. It has to be glossy. You can see I haven't prepped this at all here. There's no, we clear coated it the night before, plonked it on this morning on this board with the Aquaman feet. You can still see there. Should have changed the paper to be honest, but I haven't. Anyway, so this paint has to go over gloss. You can't do anything about any scratches or anything like that. There's next to no coverage on it. So what we're doing is just putting a very light dusting of the chrome on top of the gloss black. And the thing is, you want some of the black to come through because it keeps the reflectiveness. It's very strange to do. The more you put on, I think I'd done 4 coats with this guy, but if you keep going to like 5, 6, 7 coats, it's just going to be silver in the end. You're going to lose some of the reflective quality. And when I say coats as well, it's not like a normal coat. You can see here I'm just wafting it on. I'm not putting anything on it at all. I think if you to break out my Fuji 1.3 and give it a normal coat of this, you just destroy it. It's not what this paint's designed for, and I think that's one of the reasons why I wanted to make this video of the chrome, just to really show how we're putting it on. This is the second coat, I think. It's probably going to be hard to tell, but I want to do it in real time, and just show you I'm not going crazy, I'm not hoofing it on, just slowly build it up, and you can see that there's a slight tinge. So this is the start of the second coat. I'm not sure why there was a cut on the camera, unless somebody was shouting me or something, wanting me to do something else for them. And the advice is to use a microfiber cloth because you're spraying at a higher pressure than normal. I suppose it'd help if I mentioned that as well. But if you're spraying at sort of 35 psi, just over 2 bar, and because you're putting such a small amount out of the gun at a higher pressure, you will get some overspray. But I'll be honest here, that was the first and only time I used a tack rag. I'm not a big fan of coming in and touching the paint in any circumstance, so I don't like doing it on a normal car or whatever I seem to be painting these days. But never mind, with all the nooks and crannies here, I just thought this isn't worth trying to get in and clean it all up. It's you can see the bottom half here as the second coat's going on. It's starting to take effect with the chrome. So, that was a risk that I took. You can, I suppose if it's a flatter panel, it's much easier to go in with the microfiber and take the paint off. But I've done sort of not a two-tone effect. When you paint this stuff, if you leave it with 2 coats, it has this smoky look. You can see here as I'm pulling in quite close with the head cam. A lot of the black is still shown through, and it will have like a smoked black look. Now, the genie here is coming up out of a lamp. If you watch the last video, you'll see there's a lamp separate, which that little cutout at the bottom is for. But I figure because he's rising up out of the smoke, the smoked chrome's quite a nice look. So I do 2 coats on the bottom and then 4 on the top. So it has, you know, really, really bright, vivid sort of top half, you know, from the belt upwards, and kind of that smoky chrome look from the belt down. And you'll see here that, you know, again, light coats. I'm trying not to rush. And that's one of the big things as well with this paint, is not rushing. You don't want to hoof it on, and you need to leave plenty of time in between coats. So I believe that first coat I left sort of half an hour, let it do its thing. I'm not too sure on the flash times. I remember Tony from Tony's Refinishing, shout out to Tony, he was saying he was leaving like up to an hour, possibly 2 hours in between coats. I didn't sort of have the luxury of time, being that this isn't my own workshop. I just can't leave it in here and let it sit for 3-4 hours of the day doing nothing. So I think I went sort of half an hour in between coats, just to give it, the longer you let it sit, it's weird, like the brightness, as the pigment inside starts to settle down, it increases the brightness. So I was doing sort of half-hour coats, flash off times between coats, and just letting that build up. And you see here, just paying attention with the belt, making sure that any reflective parts are going to be as shiny as possible. You can really start to see the chrome coming on the belt there. The belt ends up gold. If you've not seen the video, again, I'll leave it at the end, but we've got a gold belt, and he's got, you can see up the top here, his necklace, he's got earrings, and he's got some weird kind of metal hair bubble thing. I'm not up on my hair bubbles, so you have to forgive me. But what we were doing with this, we're putting a gold down, masking it, and then putting a red, like a candy red, over the top, because candies, especially a candy apple red, you will hear a lot of people talk about candy apple red, they tend to go over gold anyway. So by putting the gold down, it makes it much easier for me to just mask up the belt and the little bits, and then spray the red over the top. But then the red has a really nice gold base, and it just makes it really vibrant when it's finished. So a bit of forward thinking and planning, but you can really see here, look at that chrome coming along on the abs and his forearms and stuff. So this is, I think, coat 3. Again, very light. You'll notice now I'm just going to be working on the top half, and you'll start to see the difference between the kind of smoky chrome I was talking about on the bottom and the sort of full chrome effect on the top. I mean, that circle in the middle of the belt there, the reflectiveness that's coming through, it is starting to become like a mirror. So shout out to Multimix. I mean, this stuff's incredible. I will be using it a lot more in the future. I think we've got 2 cans sat in the cupboard ready to go. It's definitely, again, because I've moved away from cars, and I appreciate a lot of you guys will still be painting cars and stuff, but because I can get a bit more wild with the things that we're printing like this, this Multimix chrome is going to be used quite a lot, I'd imagine. That's the thing as well, make sure you give this a good shake while I'm doing it on the screen there. Make sure you give it a good shake, because it can settle over time. So I believe this is the 4th and final coat that I'm coming in with. And again, I've not changed anything. The air pressure is still sort of 35 psi. Very light on the trigger. I think I've only opened it by 1 turn, and I'm not even using all of that. But yeah, just taking my time, making sure that we're not rushing. Although, like I did mention, we are in sort of a production shop, but we're not knocking stuff over, trying to make sure that we get things done. This went to a big show and in Germany this past week, which is why we've released the video. So this was painted a little while ago. It went to Formnext, which is basically the SEMA show of the 3D printing world, and it's got a lot of love, and you know, a lot of people are very impressed with how this came out, as are we. I say we, and me. But just look at that chrome. Again, shout out to Multimix. This stuff is incredible. I can imagine using it on what do you call them, diamond cut alloys, things like that. If you want to do touch-ups, I think this would be great. A really nice bright sort of metalized finish, if you will. And just a little walk around here. Look at that chrome. Now I think I do leave it for about an hour here, and then I'm coming back in with Createx's Autoborn Sealer 6000. That's a transparent water-based sort of sealer. It's like a wet on wet, but it's not at the same time. And you'll notice here it starts to go dull and milky, and we don't worry about that because, like I say, this is a transparent sealer. With the Hyper Silver Virtual Chrome, it's a very, very sort of solvent, chemically. I wish I knew what I was talking about when it comes to this, but there's a lot of solvents in it. So if you just come in and pump 2 good coats of clear on the top of this, there's a good chance that it will react. And I say react. I've never had it and I've never done it. It's one of these. I've heard about it. You can lose a lot of the reflective quality, and you can make a big mess of your job if you just come in and do it. So what we're looking at here is letting that transparent. I've actually done 2 coats. Chuck this one on much faster. So 2 coats of the transparent, and you'll see it is kind of milky and sort of washed out. But once we put the clear coat over, that chrome is going to come back, and that's what we're looking for here. We're trying to make sure that we're creating a barrier between the solvent Hyper Silver and the clear coat. So we've got a nice waterborne coat in between, and we're using Multimix's Multicure 2 HS clear coat through the SATA X5500 1.3i RP CC. Again, say that 3 times fast. Again, a phenomenal gun and another phenomenal product from Multimix. It's one of these we have the freedom to do it. I might do a whole big old video on Multimix because they do great primers, they do great ancillary products like your thinners, adhesion promoters, things like that. Their clear coats are phenomenal. So I'm having a great time using the Multimix products. I'll leave links for them in description. We get them all from SP Supplies in the UK. They're phenomenal. But you'll see here as well, I'm just putting one nice sort of drop coat on here. Again, not going all out. Choose my words there. Not going all out on this. And you can see it kind of just looks like a normal fine silver. But in the second coat where we actually put a full coat on, look at the chrome start to come back here on the bottom. And this is kind of the smoky 2 coats of chrome. You'll just see as we start to travel up the smoke here, it's just going to come alive. Looking at it there, it looks pretty impressive in a matte finish. So the options are endless. Again, Multimix do a fantastic matte clear. We've been using that as well. And you can just see here the reflective quality starts to come back very, very quickly as you put a wet coat of paint on. And again, it's great if you want a chrome finish, you know, if somebody painting a motorbike parts or whatever, they want a chrome finish. But my whole thing for this is you can put the candy paints on this and it's going to be incredible. It has such a different look when you put candy over, say, a metal flake or a highly sparkly kind of base coat, whereas this, it gives like a coloured mirror. And that was the effect that I was going for, so I'm very, very impressed. And, you know, I think Createx colours have something like 16 different colours with their Candy 2.0 line, so the choice that we had here was incredible. And, like I say, I'm hoping to exploit the Multimix and the Candy 2.0s in the future to come up with more incredible pieces like this. And this is it. We kind of teased you at the bottom end with the smoke here. You see the belt and the abs now really, really starting to shine up because we've got that barrier between with the Autoborn Sealer 6000. And there we go. As we're coming across, that reflective quality is coming straight back to where it was before. You got to think as well, when I was in the booth here, this is I've done a small test piece with the chrome and it was quite impressive, but this was, you know, the first big piece that I was doing. I was over the moon. I was very, very impressed as I was painting this. One of them ones, I do it sometimes when I was painting cars, but it's one of them ones where you want everybody to come and look at it, like, come and look at what I've just done in here. And it's a pretty cool trick to have in your arsenal as well. I'd seen, again, shout out to Tony from Tony's Refinishing, I'd seen what he'd done with it, so that when projects come up like this, I've got a great video to refer to for application. There we go. You can tell I'm happy there. But I've got all these references and videos, and I know what's going on, and we talk to people in the industry. If you ever have commented on one of my videos, you'll know that I'll get back to you as soon as I see the comment or I'm back on YouTube. So being able to talk to Tony about the finish on this, and even reaching out to Jordan at Multimix, it gave me faith to just say, you know, when they said, can you do something cool with this genie, I'm like, hell yeah, let me, you know, talk to the relevant people, get some advice. I spoke to Simon and Angela Murray over at SM Designs about the candies, and making sure that when I do this, everything's going to go smoothly. And just having that confidence to come in and do this kind of paint job with the people and supporting the industry behind us is a great, it's a great pleasure to be able to paint something like this and then put it on display on the world stage. So big shout out to all the companies involved: SP, SM Designs, Multimix. You should be proud. I'm proud. But also, kind of the point I was getting at before I went on a rampage there, if you have the option to do chrome now, and I say chrome, this is full chrome as far as I'm concerned, this is pretty as close as a mirror to anything I've ever painted. If you've got that in your arsenal now and something does come up in the workshop and it needs a bit of chrome, or I think Peugeots do chrome mirror caps a lot, and little things like that, little chrome bits on door handles and boot lids, you might now be able to bring this into your processes. You might be able to say, look, I'm sure we had a Peugeot a little while back, probably about a year ago, needed a new mirror cap, and we were like, can we just paint both white, because the car was white. We had no way to chrome them up, and if we had been on it, we could have done something like this and been able to replicate. I think part of the problem as well is they didn't have a chrome mirror. Trying to think back to it again, this paint job was a while ago, never mind when we done the Peugeot. But because you've got something like this in your arsenal now, you could buy the cheap sort of factory prime mirror cover and then do this process on it if you needed to. But again, it's a nice little trick to have in your arsenal that we can paint sort of fully chrome pieces and get away with it. You just see the reflective quality there in the rear delts. Oh, right, that'll be the end of this video. I'm sat in a cold garage here doing voiceovers at home, but I've got to say a big thank you to everyone again. This came out incredibly well, and I'm over the moon with it, so thank you, and we will see you in the next video. Again, I will leave the links in the description for all the products in this video, and I'll leave the full version of this paint job where we put the colour on. But yeah, thanks for watching, and if you don't mind and you've got this far, leave us a comment and let me know you've got this far, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you.